অনলাইনে আকাশ বেসিক সংযোগের সাথে স্ট্যান্ডার্ড প্যাক কিনে পেমেন্ট বিকাশ করলেই 300 টাকা ইনস্ট্যান্ট ক্যাশব্যাক।
বাটন ফোনই এখন স্মার্টফোন। 4G স্মার্ট বাটন ফোনই পাচ্ছেন 500-র বেশি অ্যাপ, আছে ওয়াইফাই আর হটস্পট। ইন্টারনেট এখন তাই আপনার হাতের মুঠোয়। জ্বর মাপার জন্য এখন আর থার্মোমিটার খুঁজতে হবে না, কারণ জিও ফোনে আছে ইনফ্রারেড থার্মোমিটার। হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে মেসেজ করুন বা কথা রেকর্ড করে পাঠিয়ে দিন প্রিয়জনকে, আর ফেসবুকে থাকুন সবার সাথে। বিনোদন এখন হবে বেশি বেশি জিও ফোন আর ইউটিউবের সাথে। তাহলে আর দেরি কেন? স্বল্প মূল্যে জিও ফোনটি কিনতে যোগাযোগ করুন আপনার নিকটস্থ দোকানে আর চলে আসুন ইন্টারনেটের স্মার্ট দুনিয়ায়।
Hello everyone, this is Sabrina from Augmedix. I hope all of you are doing well. I really appreciate the authorities for arranging this Employment Fest, right? যেখানে আমরা কথা বলবো কিছু জব অপরচুনিটি নিয়ে, Augmedix এর ব্যাপারে কিছু কথা বলবো। And of course, as an HR professional, আমরা আরেকটা জিনিস শেয়ার করবো আজকে, সেটা হচ্ছে transitioning from student to corporate life. So আমি আজকে থাকবো আপনাদের সাথে as a presenter. I think we can start with the presentation now. The first one that I have for you guys, that is transitioning from student life to professional life. So আমাদের সবার কিন্তু একটা কমন কোয়েরি থাকে যে গ্রাজুয়েশন শেষ করেছি, নাও হোয়াট ইজ নেক্সট, রাইট? গ্রাজুয়েশন শেষ করেছি, যে যেই জায়গা থেকেই শেষ করি, এরপরে কিন্তু একটা কথা রয়ে যায় যে হোয়াট ইজ গোনা বি দ্য নেক্সট থিং টু ডু, রাইট? And আমরা যখন আমাদের undergrads এর সাবজেক্ট গুলো চুজ করি, right? If you choose to have a engineering degree, if you choose to have a bachelor's in business administration, with that particular time কিন্তু আমাদের মাথায় চলে আসে যে what exactly we want to do in future, right? Once we have the certification, আমরা আসলে কি করতে আছি? আমরা কি কোনো জব করতে আছি এই রিলেটেড কর্পোরেট ওয়ার্ল্ডে? আমরা কি একটা বিজনেস স্টার্ট করতে আছি, নাকি আমরা আরো কিছু হায়ার এডুকেশন অ্যাচিভ করতে আছি, and then we're gonna start, right? So আমাদের যে ইউনিভার্সিটি গুলা অফকোর্স দে টিচ আস উইথ আ লট অফ থিংস, এগ্রি অন দ্যাট, বাট অন দ্য সেম টাইম যখন আমাদের গ্রাজুয়েশনটা কমপ্লিট হয়ে যায়, মোস্ট অফ আস আর ক্লুলেস, রাইট? যে এখন কি হবে, হোয়াট ইজ দ্য নেক্সট স্টেপ, আমরা যে প্রফেশনাল লাইফে এন্টার করব, আমাদের এর জন্য কি কি টিপস দরকার। তো এখন তো বিকজ অফ গুগল, গ্লাসডোর, লিঙ্কডইন, এই ধরনের প্ল্যাটফর্মস এর কারণে অল দ্য ইনফরমেশনস আর ইন ইউর ফিঙ্গার টিপস, রাইট? জাস্ট আমাদের এই স্লাইডটাও এই ব্যাপারেই কিছু টিপস দেওয়ার জন্য আপনাদের। অফকোর্স ওয়ান স্লাইড উইল নেভার টেল ইউ এভরিথিং অ্যাবাউট হাউ টু গো ফ্রম স্টুডেন্ট লাইফ টু প্রফেশনাল লাইফ, বাট ডেফিনেটলি দিস উইল শো ইউ আ গাইডলাইন ওয়্যার ইউ ক্যান ফলো দিস অ্যান্ড ওয়্যার ইউ ক্যান লুক ফর দ্য নেক্সট ইনফরমেশন, রাইট? সো আমরা যদি বলি যে যখন আমাদের গ্রাজুয়েশন শেষ করছি, আমাদের কিছু জিনিস মাথায় রাখতে হবে যে নাও উই আর আউট অফ ইউনিভার্সিটি, কলেজ, স্কুল, রাইট? সো আমরা এখন ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্ট. For every little thing, there isn't a faculty member, there isn't a teacher, even our parents are not around, we can go and talk, আজকে এটা ঠিক হয়নি, অথবা টিচারদের কাছ থেকে আরেকটু হেল্প নিয়ে কিভাবে কাজটা করা যায়। once you are in the corporate world, you are totally independent. That is the first thing. আরেকটা জিনিস আমরা এটা সবসময় বলি, যে ইউনিভার্সিটি লাইফে ইউ পে অ্যান্ড ইউ লার্ন, রাইট? যখন ইউ জয়েন আ কর্পোরেট ওয়ার্ল্ড, রাইট, ইউ স্টার্ট ওয়ার্কিং, so it's over here we pay you, right? And we pay you for the service that you will be providing, right? We're paid for the service. So I'm going to go to the next slide. একটু যদি বেসিক ডিফারেন্সের কথা আমরা বলি, রাইট? একটা কমন জিনিস, আমরা অনেক ফ্রেশ গ্রাজুয়েট হায়ার করি অগমেডিক্সে, এবং একটা ব্যাপার আমরা বলি যে এখনো ক্যাম্পাস থেকে আসলে ক্যাম্পাসের ওই ফিলটা ওদের মধ্যে যায়নি যখন আমাদের কোম্পানি এরা জয়েন করে মোস্টলি, কারণ আমরা মোস্টলি ফ্রেশ গ্রাজুয়েটদেরকে আসলে হায়ার করি। সো অবশ্যই ডিটেলসে কথা বলবো এটা নিয়ে আপনাদের সাথে। যেটা হয় যে স্কুল কলেজে আমাদের অনেক ফ্রেন্ডসরা থাকে, রাইট? এবং আমরা অনেক সময় বুঝি না, কিন্তু আমরা কলিগদেরও ফার্স্টের দিকে ওভাবে ট্রিট করা শুরু করে দিই। তো একটা জিনিস আমাদের সবাইকে একটু মনে রাখতে হবে, colleagues are not our friends, right? We do have to maintain a certain level of professionalism with that. Even though we want, we cannot be fully social with them while we are at work, right? And of course, we have to be responsible and independent in our professional life. If one task has been assigned to you, I have to figure out how within 100% efficiency I can do it, right? That is being the responsible and independent person in the professional life. I know all of us are have this experience where we work with team projects, আমরা অনেক presentation একসাথে কাজ করি, we work in a team for the reports, for the thesis, for the internship, where 4 to 5 people in a group, and সবাই divide work and do it all among ourselves, and we can count on each other, right? Of course, in professional life you can of course count on your colleague, but you have to on the same time you have to ensure যে your part of the work সেটাও আপনি ঠিকমতো সাবমিট করছেন। কিন্তু ফ্রেন্ডরা যখন কাজ যদি এরকমও হয় যে চারজনের মধ্যে হয়তো একজন কাজ করছে না, স্টিল আমরা কিন্তু a lot of time don't ravel them out right in front of the faculty, আমরা বলি যে না না ঠিক আছে আমরা সবাই মিলে করেছি and we get the mark. Unfortunately, that is one of the difference in the corporate world. Everyone will try to prove that they are 100% efficient, they have put their 100% effort, and if you don't do so you will be lag behind, right? These are few basic difference that I have noticed over the years. Another thing, we have to keep in mind, যখন আমরা ইউনিভার্সিটিতে যাই, we go to college, university and everywhere, there are of course people from different background, different age, different qualification, different culture, right? And we understand university, college, if you don't want to mingle with a certain type of people, if you don't want to be friends with other people, and that is fine, right? That is sort of accepted when you're in college, in your university, that is sort of accepted. Unfortunately, you cannot do the same when you're entering in a corporate world, right? You have to make sure that you're open to meet people from other background, you're open to people with other qualification from different cultures. And over here in corporate world, unfortunately, you cannot limit yourself with your own age group, your own qualification, or your gender or race, right? Of course, another thing that matters the most, that I always say, the individual performance, right? How you're performing your task, right? And what kind of value it's adding to the team, to the company, it will always matter. And of course, it will make a difference in the company's success, right? Challenges that you might face. These are the few things we would like to talk. Once you leave the campus and you come to our office, of course, it's a change of environment, right? You have to adjust with new people. Universities, যেটা হয়, if you don't like someone, you don't have to sit with them. You can change it, right? Unfortunately, that's not the same case when you start working with people. So time management would be another major factor that you have to make sure. অনেক সময় it's fine if you come late in a class, but office hours, in a meeting, if you're supposed to be on in a specific time, you have to be there 5 to 10 minutes earlier. These are the few etiquettes will always help you to come forward with new ideas. People will definitely appreciate that. আরেকটা ব্যাপার যেটা হয় যে রিপোর্টিং, রিপোর্টিং in a sense that university, their faculties, you understand that in দিন শেষে you'll get a grade if you do well in the midterms, in the final, and if you submit assignments on time and all that. Over here, you have a boss, right? For the first time you have someone you have to call boss or a line manager. And over here that person will be responsible, right? What kind of task you'll be doing, right? What will be your hours, uh, how are you going to utilize your efficiency, your skill and expertise. So you have to get used to it, that someone else will be telling me what exactly I am doing, right? Of course your ideas will be welcomed, I'm sure, but you have to keep in a mind that you have to be open for feedbacks, right? There is always room for improvisation. So these are the few things you always have to keep in mind. And of course, like any other company, we also have some rules, regulations, some policies, right? You have to show respect towards them wherever you decide to join. You have to adjust with the office hours. I know university যেটা হয় দুই তিনটা যদি class থাকে, you get break in between, and within 4 or 5 you're mostly done if you're doing your graduation. But university, once you join a corporate world, it's 8 to 9 hours of work. So this is the one thing you have to get adjusted, that a full 9 or 8 hours you're working in a corporate environment. And there isn't, of course there are going to be lunch breaks and dinner breaks, but this is where you'll be spending next 9 hours. You have to be mentally prepared for them, right? uh, Limitation to new ideas, maybe as a fresher if you join, first of all, at the beginning people might not be very open to hear your ideas, because of course you have to gain knowledge first, practical knowledge, this is what I meant, right? Another thing that happened over here in Bangladesh, I think a lot of freshers get frustrated seeing the salary structure that is provided by the companies, most of the companies. What I would suggest, as a HR person, if you're a fresh graduate, just open towards opportunities first, right? Gain some experience, and then that experience, the value that you're adding for that particular organization, in future, that will actually help you to negotiate your salary. But for that, you have to earn that knowledge first, that exposure and experience first, right? So open towards the salary. জব সিকিউরিটি নিয়ে যখনই কথা বলি, আমি পার্সোনালি সবসময় একটা কথাই বলি, অ্যাকচুয়ালি দেয়ার ইজ নাথিং কল জব সিকিউরিটি, স্পেশালি প্রাইভেট সেক্টরে, কর্পোরেট সেক্টরে। There isn't anything called job security. It's your performance, right? That secures your job. So it's very obvious একটা ব্যাপার যেটা হচ্ছে যে you have to make sure that you are an asset for the company. You cannot be a liability. And as specifically Augmedix in a healthcare, we say that every day, right? Every day you have to learn new things. Uh, in healthcare, there is always a thing that, every day there is a new medication, every day there is a new technique, there's a new vaccine, there's a new procedure, right? So you have to continue learning. It's not only for that we are in the healthcare. If you're starting your career in the corporate sector, every day if you add a little to your learning curve, right, it will always help you to take forward few steps in the future. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next thing that I have. So how to develop yourself. As I mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, that universities might not prepare you for everything, and that is fine. It's all over the same norm actually. Uh, and of course, as a fresher, I've heard from a lot of people that it's definitely difficult to find first employment, right? So in that case, you have to know what are your career goals are, right? Where do you want to see yourself in next 2 to 3 years? That is one question you have to ask yourself, right? Another thing, I see a lot of people graduated. It's been a couple of years and they're sitting home trying for jobs, not joining anywhere. Now, if you do that, I'll tell you what happened. If I've been graduated back in 2018, 2019, you have to understand that 2020 there will be more people graduating, and now you will be competing with those people. Though you have graduated 2 years back, now in the market, if you're graduating with those people with the same salary, structure, it definitely is going to be difficult for you, and employer will prefer fresh graduate, because if there is a gap after your graduation, the resume you send to the employer doesn't make you look very good, right? So what have you done in the next 2 years? So in that case, if you get a decent job where you have a learning opportunity, you should accept it rather than having a gap for 1 2 years. It does not make your look resume that good. And you of course have to be open for salary negotiation, right? In the beginning, I would really say that it's very important to gain knowledge, and that gives you bargaining power for your next interview. Try to be open, work hard. Another thing you guys should definitely do, that as I already mentioned, that all the informations are in your fingertips. You have alumni working in the different organization, we have LinkedIn. Try to add a lot of people from HR to learn about more job opportunities. Build connection. From there you get to learn about a lot of new jobs, right? LinkedIn, and there are a lot of job groups in Facebook are available. I know we are the kind of generation where I spend a lot of time in Facebook. If we just divide some time in LinkedIn and add a lot of people from HR, recruiters, on the same time try to add ourselves in the job groups in Facebook, that will definitely help you in future, and you'll be able to learn a lot of new opportunities that are available in the market. So I'm going to move to the next one. So work etiquette is a must, right? It's sort of must everywhere. A lot of time, what happened over here, as we mostly work with the fresh graduates, right? If you're entering in a lift and there's already a person who's a little bit senior, in an age or something like that, you showed a little bit courtesy or a little bit of respect, rather than shouting loudly or smiling, laughing loudly. These are the few things you have to maintain when you're in office, right? And you always have to show respect to your co-workers. This is one place, university jeta hoy, we do a lot of jokes, a lot of pranks, and our friends are okay with it, and that is fine. But if workplace you say something that is not respectful, or a lot of time, maybe a decent joke, people don't take it easy. So you have to be cautious about your words that you're using, right? Show up on time. That is the first thing, right? Of course, when you're getting ready for the office, you have to look yourself in the mirror, and you have to see whether you look like a person who should be going to a corporate ball. If you think that's good enough, you're good to go, I would believe, right? But of course, dressing actually makes you look different from others. It makes you look that you are ready for the next step, right? Of course, workplace boundaries are there. You have to respect them. If there's a meeting, you have to be on time. Start saying please and thank you. So I never, whenever I'm asking for a favor, when I'm asking for a report, data or anything, I usually, of course, start my email with please, and of course, I try to end with thank you. Whenever meeting a colleague, around the building, doesn't really matter if you have to work with them regularly or they're from a different team, different group, try to say hello, right? How are you doing? And of course, say goodbyes as well. This little connection will definitely help you in a longer way. So I'm moving to the next slide that we have. That is the end of this one. Do you guys have any questions, well, we can take it. But when you are asking questions to employers, right, you have to be very uh, concerned about that you're asking the right questions. In a meeting, right, you have to understand what is the meeting agenda, what they exactly will be talking about. So these are the few things you always have to keep in mind where you're attending a meeting, you're making the report, or even you're talking to your line manager or your employer. This was all pretty much that I had transitioning from student life to professional life. I'm pretty much done. In that case, I think we can take a break and come with the next presentation. Thank you all for hearing me.
অর্ণবের গ্র্যাজুয়েশন শেষ হলো এবছর। গ্র্যাজুয়েশনের পরপরই তার চিন্তা শুরু চাকরি খোঁজার, কিন্তু তার মূল চিন্তার বিষয় কোথায় অ্যাপ্লাই করবে। কারণ অর্ণবের চেকলিস্ট অনুযায়ী প্রতিষ্ঠান খুঁজে পাওয়া মুশকিল। সে চায় একটি মাল্টিন্যাশনাল কোম্পানি, ভালো স্যালারি, 2 দিন ছুটি, হেলথ ইন্স্যুরেন্স, ক্যারিয়ার গ্রো, অফিসে ভালো খাবার, ট্রান্সপোর্টেশন সুবিধা, সাথে একটা জিম হলে বেশ হতো। তার চেকলিস্ট হুবহু মিলে যায় অগমেডিক্সের সাথে। অর্ণব এখন নিশ্চিন্ত, আজই সে অগমেডিক্সে অ্যাপ্লাই করবে। আপনি করছেন তো? অগমেডিক্স হায়ারিং স্ক্রাইব অ্যান্ড ট্রান্সক্রিপশনিস্ট।
অনলাইনে আকাশ বেসিক সংযোগের সাথে স্ট্যান্ডার্ড প্যাক কিনে পেমেন্ট বিকাশ করলেই 300 টাকা ইনস্ট্যান্ট ক্যাশব্যাক।
Hello everyone, I'm back again. Now I'm going to talk about my company, Augmedix, what we do, what exactly we provide. So this is actually my favorite presentation. Let's talk about what Augmedix does, right? Okay. So let me introduce you to the Augmedix management team. We have Jan Shakil as our chairperson. He's our co-founder as well. One of the biggest reason that Augmedix has an office in Bangladesh, has a huge operations in Bangladesh, because Mr. Jan Shakil is half Bangladeshi. His father is Bangladeshi, so he sort of had a commitment towards his father that if he ever becomes someone in life, he'll definitely do something for Bangladesh, and that is the reason that we are continuously hiring people from Bangladesh. Next, I have Mr. Rashad Mujib Nuban as our country director. So, if I talk a little bit about, Mr. Rashad Mujib Nuban, he started his undergrads in Buet, did his mechanical engineering. After that, got admitted in IBA, did few semester, got an opportunity to do PhD from University of Pennsylvania, went over there. The first company that he joined, that was General Motors. He stayed there for 7 years. Later, he joined the company Boeing. We all know about Boeing, right? So he was this is something we can be very proud of as a Bangladeshi, actually. He is the only Bangladeshi who went to the management level in a company like Boeing. He was the only senior manager as a Bangladeshi who, achieved that kind of success. And later on a time, when your motherland calls and you feel like you should be doing something for your own country, that was the time when Rashad Bhai came back in 2017 and joined us. Last but not the least, we have Manny Crackeris as our CEO for Augmedix Inc. Manny is basically known as the guru of startups. So basically, this is a Silicon Valley company started in 2012. What we do is we help doctors in USA to prepare medical documentation, and we do it from Bangladesh. As I was mentioning that this is a US based company, so of course our head office in San Francisco, and we have a large operations in Bangladesh. We also have our partners in India and in Sri Lanka. So now the question is, what do we do, right? What exactly Augmedix does? Most of the startup, those are existing in the market. We understand that they started their journey in order to resolve a problem, right? So same goes with Augmedix as well. Augmedix started its journey where they realized that doctors have a lot of pain points in USA. So the system over here, যেটা আমরা বাংলাদেশে ফলো করি, is not pretty much the same in USA, right? In USA, if a patient wants to see a doctor, they can go take an appointment, see a doctor. And how does the payment happen, right? Over there, being a developed country, most of the citizens are covered by the health insurance companies, right? So in order for them to get paid, the doctors to get paid, they have to fill out an electronic health record, right? We call it EHR. In this electronic health record, what it contains is whatever the symptoms the patients have, whatever the diseases they have, any kind of history, family history, any kind of allergies history, everything, and what kind of medicine, what kind of procedure the doctor is suggesting, everything should be in the electronic health record, and they have to fill it in the time when the patient comes. So what happened is the patient is there talking about their sufferings, their symptoms. On the same time, the doctor is glued to the computer, because in the end of the day, by the time the doctor is done seeing the patient, they have to give one copy of the electronic health record to the patient. Another copy goes to the health insurance company for reimbursement. And back in 1996, by the former President Bill Clinton, he passed a law called HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Protectability Act. Because of that, all the doctors need to fill out this electronic health record. Now, what happens is, if you go to a doctor, right, and if you're glued there, seeing what the doctor is showing you, right, and filling out these informations, what happen is the doctors cannot look at you. Though you're talking, you're a sick person, you'll definitely prefer, if a doctor takes a look at you. On the same time, the doctor is glued to the computer, but the doctor is helpless as well. So what we do is we provide a scribe, and that is the main service that Augmedix provide, right? We provide a scribes who remotely take care of the documentation behalf of the doctor. And how do we do? If you just look at the presentation that I'm sharing, you can see there is a female doctor, and she's checking a patient in USA. And over here, the flag of Bangladesh, under that you can see that a person is can see the live interaction that is going on between the doctor and the patient. And another screen, they are filling out the electronic health record for the doctors, right? And the thing that she is wearing, that is a Google Glass, right? So Augmedix is powered by Google Glass, of course. And we get a live streaming as the doctor uses the Google Glass. So our scribes can see the live interaction that is going on in USA between the doctor and the patient, and fill out the electronic health record, so the doctor can provide more face time to the patients. And the second thing is, this documentation, we have a survey that says on an average it takes 17 to 20 hours if the doctors fills it out by themselves, right? So this, of course, make the doctor a little bit frustrated, overburdened with work. They're seeing patients, they are doing procedures, they are doing surgeries, and top of that, they also have to take care of the documentation. So it makes their life a little bit difficult. uh, our founder, Mr. Jan Shakil, came up with the idea, if someone, right, remotely takes care of the documentation, so our doctors can provide more face time, provide more focus to the patients, and someone can have a full-time job as well. So this is what we're doing. We are doing scribing for the US doctors, where we're hiring people and they're working live with the US doctors. So it's a real-time work that we're doing from a live conversation. Another thing that we have to keep in mind over here, because of the time difference and we're doing everything in the real time, it's going to be night shift in Bangladesh, right? So this is exactly what we are doing. We started hire scribes back in 2016. So far, we have hired 36 batches of scribes, right? And now we are hiring for the 37 batch. So Augmedix hired 2 to 3 batches of scribes every month. And we generally hire 15 to 20 people in a batch. So I'm moving forward to the next position that we have. Over the year, I think one question that we have frequently heard from people that, we understand what you guys are doing. It's a great work, but of course, a lot of time, you're unable to convince your family what exactly Augmedix is doing. And I still understand that, working night is a little bit taboo in our social culture. For my first 3 years, I actually worked at night, right? So I still understand that people feel a little bit uncomfortable and people have sleepless schedule. So all this makes sense. So this year, when the global pandemic hit, this March 2020, our sales team actually reached out to few doctors and said, how about you get your notes within next 24 hours, right? So we're not sending the notes right away, right? What we're doing, we're getting a recording from the doctor patient conversation, and when the next day our transcriptionists log in, they can listen to the audio, and from there they can transcribe the relevant data for the doctor and fill out the electronic health record. So that's a non-real time job. It's from a recorded conversation, and we do that in a day shift time, right? So people who are interested to work in the day shift, they can always join for the position of transcriptionist. So far, we have hired 2 batches of transcriptionists. As I mentioned, that we started this project in March 2020, and now we are recruiting for the third batch of transcriptionists, right? So they work with the recorded conversation, whereas the scribes, the previous position that I talked about, they work in a real time with US doctor. So by the time the doctor is seeing the patient, our scribe can listen to the conversation, live conversation, and they fill out the electronic health record, right, behalf of the doctor. So what it takes to be a scribe, or what it takes to be a transcriptionist. So a lot of time people has this idea that as I have to work with doctors, I need to have a medical background or a biomedical background or at least a pharmacy background. No, that's actually not true. We can hire anyone who's done with their graduation, and they can be from any discipline, right? One of the most required skill for this job is English listening and writing skill, right? Because I have fever and I had fever, it kind of changes the whole medication. And when you're working in the healthcare, unfortunately you cannot take any risk. So you have to be very vigilant. That was the next point I was coming to, that you have to provide attention to details. You have to be very focused. Another thing that is very important, that is passion for healthcare, right? So if you're working with doctors, you have to understand this is what you're actually making difference in someone's life, right? uh, this is not like the regular available jobs in the market. Over here you are working with a doctor who's treating maybe 20 to 30 very sick patients. So you need to have that passion that I'm making a difference. For because of me, as I'm a part of the doctor's team, the doctor can provide more support, more care to the patients. So that is the kind of passion that we're looking for. Of course, last but not the least, you should be very good with technology, as you will be accessing different kind of platforms. And of course, as you have to type everything in the real time, your typing skills should be good as well, right? So these are the few requirements that Augmedix is providing. I'm also going to explain that why we can take graduates from any discipline in our next slide. So this is the one, this is the recruitment process. The information session is the first one, which I'm currently conducting. How can you attend the pre-screening? What you guys can do, if you're interested for this position, you can go to the Google Play Store, download the Augmedix pre-screening app and take that. Our people team, the HR team, checks the data every day. If you pass, we're going to invite you for the next step, which is a screening assessment. So the screening assessment is basically where we test the proficiency of English, right? So there will be, this is a very basic assessment, if you believe me, right? It's going to be very basic grammar, which we have studied back in grade 7, 8, right? There will be articles, there will be vocabulary, passive constructions, subject verb agreement, tense, and there will be listening, right? So you have to listen to an audio. Based on that, you have to answer certain question. There will be summary writing as well. We'll be giving a topic. Based on that topic, you have to write a short summary. So very basic grammars. If you're taking preparation for Augmedix screening assessment, just start reading a grammar book from grades 7 or 8. That will actually help you to pass the screening assessment. It's nothing that advanced. It's a very basic grammar that we have been taught back in grade 7 and 8. So once you pass the screening assessment, there will be a final interview, just to make sure that you like us, we like you. It's a both side of understanding. That's what Augmedix believes, between the employer and the future employee. And after that, if we are on the same page, you get hired. Now, as I was talking about that we can take anybody and everybody, so here I'm going to explain the career growth and compensation of Scribe, that why we can take anybody and everybody. If you see the first step, you get joined as a trainee, right? The first thing that we call it over here is Augmedix Scribe training part 1, right? It goes for 6 weeks. Here you get a training allowance of 10,000 taka per month. And what exactly you learn? You learn over here basic and advanced English. We have trainers over here who are going to teach you the basic and advanced English, of course. There will be language of medicine. So this is the reason I was saying that we actually don't need people who are familiar with, medicine or medical terms, because we have a course over here. It's part of the training, language of medicine. We have trainers who will help you to learn the language of medicine, the doctors who are working as a trainer for LOM, we call it over here. So you can actually join us and learn the language of medicine. And of course, last but not the least, typing is there. If you pass the first phase of the training, we send you to the next phase, the one we call Augmedix Scribe Training Part 2, right? Here you get a 15,000 taka training allowance, and it goes for 6 weeks. 15,000 taka is for per month. Here you learn how to, chart for the doctor, how to create notes for the doctor, and after that there is a final exam, right? The exam, if you pass the exam, you are DR. So what is the DR? That means you're doctor ready. So DR is the part when we assign you with one of our doctors and you start shadowing the doctor, right? You start creating sample notes, sample charts for the doctor, so the doctor review your notes and provide a feedback. If the doctor is positive, you will start working independently with a doctor. That is the time when you get a salary of 30,000. The reason I'm saying rest of the things are training, and this is what training allowance, and this money from 30,000 is the salary, because in your university, as I mentioned in my previous slide, that you learn and you pay. In the corporate world, we pay, and as Augmedix comes with a training program, we pay and you learn. In the end of the day, you have a job as well, right? So DA means doctor approved, and the one means you're working with one doctor. DA2 means you're approved by two different doctors, and the salary structure is given there. There's 30,000, 35,000 when we're working with three different doctors. The amount is around 40,000. It can take you 2 to 2.5 years in order to gain all those experience with different doctors. From there, you can move as a senior scribe, you can be a training specialist, and the band start with 45,000. Here, it can take you 4.5 to 5 years. From there, you can move to our quality team. You can become a team leader, you can become a trainer, you can become a manager as well. And everything over here is actually performance based, okay? There is nothing like seniority or you have to have couple of years of experience here and there. It's your performance that talks for you. I think most of us have used the Uber and Pathao, right? And end of the ride, you provide a rating to the driver, to the person who's there, and that driver can rate you back. So over here, the Google Glass that I showed you in the beginning of the presentation, our doctors can provide a rating to the scribes, right? So they can provide out of 5 stars, they can provide you 4, 5, 3 stars, and based on that, and there's a verbal feedback they provide every day, end of the day, that the how did the scribe supported the doctor, how accurate the notes were. So based on that, you actually climb up the ladder, right? So people who are currently working with us as a trainer, as a training specialist, performance lead, all of them started their journey as a scribe, and now they're climbing up the ladder, right? I hope that makes sense. This is the career growth and compensation that we're offering for the position of scribe. So I'm going to move to the next one where we're going to talk about the transcriptionist position, which is in the day shift. It's pretty much the same structure as you can see. Start as a trainee. The first phase of the training is Augmedix Scribe Training Phase 1, Augmedix Scribe Training Phase 2. Start with 10,000 allowance per month, training allowance, and then 12,000 allowance per month. Once you clear your doctor ready exam, you get a 17,000. From there, you start working with a doctor, you get a recorded conversation of the doctor patient, and you start transcribing them, right? And the doctor provides a feedback about yourself. So here your salary becomes 24,000, and then you work with a few different doctors, and that's how gradually the salary moves. Of course, you have the opportunity to become senior transcriptionist, training specialist. You can move to our quality team, to our team leader position, to our trainer position, and of course we have a manager position as well. So the plan is to hire another 500 people from Bangladesh. So all of these positions are there. All you have to do is study a lot during the training period that we have over here, and prove yourself, and you can definitely climb up the ladder real fast over here. So let me talk about few benefits of working at Augmedix. Of course, I already talked about the compensation, the training allowance, the salary. We also have a festival bonus, right? So we provide two festival bonuses. And the amazing thing is that you get exposure where you work with a US doctor. You're part of the US doctors team, right? There are caregiver, there are nurses, there are doctors, and you are part of that team as well. One thing, I personally really like, we only work 5 days a week, right? A lot of most of the local companies work 6 days a week, which is definitely difficult. Over here we work from Monday to Friday, as we follow the US calendar. I hope that makes sense. So Saturday Sundays are the weekend, right? So one of the day you can spend time with your family, you can relax a little bit, and you also have a one banking day, which is Sunday, so you can run all of your work on that particular day, and you get enough rest. Another thing that we're providing, that is life and health insurance, right? So health insurance for you, your spouse, and up to two kids are covered. We also provide the drop off service, that is for the night shift, right? We provide our daily meal, lunch, dinner based on their shift, their snacks, unlimited tea, coffee, cookies. Another thing that I really love about Augmedix, we have a gym in this very building. The office that we have, in Panthabot, we have our own gym over here, so you don't have to commute to any other place to avail the gym. Over here you can just come an hour early, go to gym, do your exercise, take a nice shower, have a warm cup of coffee, and start working. So we just want to make sure that our employees are healthy and happy, and we try to always take care of them. So these are the few benefits that Augmedix is providing. I'm almost done with our my presentation about Augmedix. As you can see, we celebrate a lot of occasions over there. Halloween, Valentine's Day, Bashunta Utsav, Pohala Boishak, Women's Day. Unfortunately, this year, due to COVID-19, we're unable to celebrate any of these occasions. But on a normal year, we celebrate a lot of occasions over there. It's a mix of Bangladeshi and American culture, so it's definitely fun to work with. We work hard and we play hard. That is kind of the concept that we follow over here. As I was talking about the gym, this is some photos from the gym, as you guys can see, I hope. Few tips to improve your English, right? You can, as I was saying, that middle school grammar book will definitely work. Try to watch a lot of English movies and series every day. As we're in the healthcare, I'm going to suggest you to watch House of MD, Grey's Anatomy, Scrubs, Resident. This will actually give you a real-time idea how the doctors work in the real world. Try to read books; those are in English. Try to practice typing in a keyboard with your 10 fingers. Try to speak English at home and with your friends. This will give you a confidence. These few skills will not only come handy for Augmedix, but if you have a plan to go abroad for higher studies, if you want to join an MNC, if you join a global company, these are the few things will always help you. So I'm pretty much at the end of this presentation. I'm all done from my end. I'm gonna thank all our viewers for hearing us out. Augmedix is still continuously hiring for the position of scribe and transcriptionist, and I think this global pandemic has made us realize that nothing is more important than healthcare, and our doctor needs their scribes more than ever. All the Fortune 500 companies are now investing in the healthcare. So if you're thinking that you're a fresh graduate and you have no idea where to start your job, I would suggest you to study a little bit about Augmedix and see if this is the opportunity you're looking for, right? And as I already mentioned, that every month we are hiring 50 to 60 people. So we're continuously hiring. If you have a couple of semester left, finish your graduation and you can always get back to us. I think that is all from my end. Thank you so much for hearing us out. I wish you good luck in your job search. Stay happy and healthy. Thank you, everyone.
ওই তোর কাছে রিয়ার নাম্বার আছে?
রিয়ার নাম্বার দিয়ে তুই কি করবি?
আকাশ কিনতে কম দুজনরে কিনাইতে পারলে আমার এক মাসের বিল ফ্রি, বুঝছস তো? আর যাদের দিয়া কিনামু তারাও প্রথম মাসের বিলে পাবে 50% ক্যাশব্যাক।
তাই নাকি?
হ্যাঁ।
কিন্তু দোস্ত আমি তো রিয়ার নাম্বার অনেক আগেই মোবাইল থেকে ডিলিট করে দিছি।
তোর রিয়ার নাম্বার দিলি না তো? তোরে যে রেফারেল হিসেবে ইউজ করছিলাম সেটা এখন ক্যান্সেল করতেছি।
হ্যালো রিয়া।
হ্যালো, আকাশ হেল্প সেন্টার?
জি, আকাশ হেল্প সেন্টার। বলুন আপনাকে কিভাবে সহযোগিতা করতে পারি?
একটু আগে যে রেফারেলটা দিছিলাম সেটা আমি একটু চেঞ্জ করতে চাইছি।
সরি, এটা তো কোনোভাবেই পসিবল না।
ভাই ভাই ভাই, সে একটু আগে মারা গেছে ভাই, ইন্তেকাল করছে ভাই, সে পৃথিবীতে নাই ভাই, এই জন্য চেঞ্জ করতে চাইতেছি ভাই।
আকাশের প্রতিটি রেফারেলে দুজনেই পাচ্ছেন মাসিক বিলে 50% ক্যাশব্যাক। চলে আসুন আকাশের ঝকঝকে টিভি দেখার নতুন দুনিয়ায়।
বাটন ফোনই এখন স্মার্টফোন। 4G স্মার্ট বাটন ফোনই পাচ্ছেন 500 বেশি অ্যাপ। আছে ওয়াইফাই আর হটস্পট। ইন্টারনেট এখন তাই আপনার হাতের মুঠোয়। জ্বর মাপার জন্য এখন আর থার্মোমিটার খুঁজতে হবে না, কারণ জিও ফোনে আছে ইনফ্রারেড থার্মোমিটার। হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে মেসেজ করুন বা কথা রেকর্ড করে পাঠিয়ে দিন প্রিয়জনকে। আর ফেসবুকে থাকুন সবার সাথে। বিনোদন এখন হবে বেশি বেশি জিও ফোন আর ইউটিউবের সাথে। তাহলে আর দেরি কেন? স্বল্প মূল্যে জিও ফোনটি কিনতে যোগাযোগ করুন আপনার নিকটস্থ দোকানে আর চলে আসুন ইন্টারনেটের স্মার্ট দুনিয়া।